Alright, buddy, peace. Welcome to the GSMC College Football Podcast show, brought to you by GSMC Sports Network. As you guys know, I'm your host, Casuan Cottle, and we have got a wonderful show for you today, guys. It is Preview Show Friday, so we're going to be previewing the top games of the week, and we have got some very exciting matchups, some SEC matchups, some Pac-12 matchups, some overrated, some matchups that involve overrated teams, some ACC matchups. We got a lot of games we're going to be covering this show, so I'm excited to get into it. And let's not waste any time. Let's go ahead and get right into it. But before we get started, if you haven't already, be sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button as well, so you guys can stay up to date on all our latest content that we post daily. And be sure to follow us on Patreon as well. You can do so by going to patreon.com, clicking on the search bar, and typing in GSMC Sports. That way you can get access to all of our exclusive content that we post daily. And if you'd like to support our network and our company, you can do so by following the link in the ticker below. It's streamelements.com/GSMC Sports Network./tip. Once again, it's streamelements.com/GSMC Sports Network./tip. None of this is possible without you guys, the fans, so we're just so grateful and honored for all the support and love that you show us, because it's a pleasure and it's an honor to be here, have this platform. So, that being said, guys, let's go ahead and get right into it, shall we? There's some very exciting matchups. We're going to start with the SEC matchup, Alabama, Arkansas. According to Matchup Predictor, Alabama has a 90.6% chance of winning this game. The game's going to be played at Bryant-Denny Stadium, so a home game for Alabama. Over-under is currently set at 46, and the spread has Alabama minus 19.5. So, obviously, Matchup Predictor doesn't have this game being particularly close. As you guys know, Arkansas is coming off a 27-20 loss to Ole Miss. Actually haven't won since their opening week win against Kent State. And as you guys know, Alabama is coming off a 26-20 victory against Texas A&M. And before that, they beat Mississippi State 40-17. So, very, according to the numbers, one-sided matchup. But, I wanted to use this framing device as a way to just kind of talk about how Alabama is, though they do have their flaw, they're still finding ways to win. They're still winning, and they're finding different ways to win, as opposed to the past couple seasons relying heavily on their offense. This season they have relied extensively on their defense, and their defense has been quite dominant this season. They've got one of the best secondaries, I believe, in the country. And getting Malachi Moore back from injury will be even better. Him paired with Kool-Aid McKinstry is huge, and then obviously the interior is solid as well for Alabama. And the offense is continuing to improve as Jalen Milroe improves. And this is reminiscent of the Alabama team, like I've been making this comparison, in 2015, when they won the national championship against Clemson, when Jay Coker was their quarterback and Derrick Henry was the starting running back. That team has some flaws and deficiencies as well, especially at the offensive end. But they did have a Heisman winner, Derrick Henry, but has some deficiencies outside of that on the offensive end. But was led by an outstanding defense. That defense had Jonathan Allen, Deron Payne, Ryan Anderson, Deshaun Hand, Reuben Foster, and Eddie Jackson, and Cyrus Jones, Geno Matias-Smith, Minka Fitzpatrick. So you can see there's a lot of pieces on that team. Have a great defensive team right there, but it was flawed offensively. It took them a while to get the rhythm as well, just like this Alabama team. And this Alabama team reminds me of that version of Alabama. And they're just like them. They are improving as the season goes on. They're starting to peak. They haven't peaked yet, but they're getting there. And if Alabama can win the SEC, then right now they're favorites to win the SEC West, and then you get the SEC title game matchup against Georgia. If Georgia comes out the SEC East, if Alabama manages to win that game, you can all but guarantee that they'll be in the college football playoff. So, Alabama does control their own destiny in that aspect. And I wanted to use this this matchup between Alabama and Arkansas as a framing device to talk about why Alabama is peaking at the right time and how they're improving. So I don't think this game's going to be particularly close. I got Alabama win this game by a score of, I would say, 42-13. 42-13, Alabama. But let me know what you guys think in the chat room. If this is going to be a close game or not. Love to hear all about it. But in our next segment, guys, we are going to be discussing a Pac-12 matchup. A very exciting Pac-12 matchup between Oregon and Washington. So be sure to stick around for all of that, guys. You are not going to miss it. We'll be right back. Alright, welcome back. In case you missed the first segment of our show, we just discussed the matchup between Alabama and Arkansas and what this matchup means for the SEC West moving forward. And in this segment, guys, we're going to be discussing a Pac-12, a very exciting Pac-12 matchup between Oregon and Washington. Very exciting matchup between Oregon and Washington that features the number 8 seeded Oregon Ducks squaring up against the 7 seed Washington Huskies. According to Matchup Predictor, Oregon has a 54.8% chance of winning the game. The game's going to be held at Husky Stadium, so it's a home game for Washington, obviously. Over-under is currently set at 66, and the line actually has Washington -3. So, obviously, Vegas thinks this is going to be a close game. Pac-12 matchup. Obviously, both teams are undefeated. Oregon coming off a 42-6 victory against Stanford back on September 30th. They had a bye last week. And Washington coming off of a 31-24 victory against Arizona. So both of these teams had a bye last week. Listen, there's not much to say about. We already know Washington has the best offense in the country, led by Michael Penix Jr., who is in fact a Heisman candidate right now. Has just about 2,000 yards, 16 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Bo Nix has almost 1,500 yards, 15 touchdowns, 1 interception. Oregon has a slightly better defense. They're allowing 255 yards per game, while Washington is allowing 365. But I will say this, that the best offense that Oregon has faced so far this year is Colorado, and this was a Colorado team that didn't have Travis Hunter and that does not have a great offensive line. So, take with that as you will. Oregon has not faced the offense or a team, quite frankly, as good as Washington all year. This Washington team, man, is just... Listen, like I said, I think I talked about this in a couple of episodes. I believe on Monday I talked about this. I think Washington's one of the best teams in the country, man. Right up there with Penn State and Georgia. I think Washington's one of the best teams in the country. I think Washington is the best team in the Pac-12. I'm not sold on Oregon. I do think Oregon is a little overrated. And, obviously this matchup right here is going to say a lot. I think whoever loses this game can all but dash away their chances of making the college football playoff. So this is a huge matchup. And I think that the defense of Oregon is going to struggle because they haven't played against a team as good as, or often as good as Washington. And one thing I noticed with Oregon is that though they have a great front seven, their secondary is vulnerable at times. And, this is going up against obviously a Washington that leads the nation in passing yards. So how will they be able to handle the passing attack of Washington? That will need to be seen. And same with Washington, though. They obviously haven't faced a team as good as Oregon all year. We know how their defense is susceptible at times to big plays. I think this is going to be a high-scoring game between these two teams. I can see it going to the mid-40s. But I do think Washington is going to win this game. I think Washington is going to win this game by a score of 47-42. I think it's going to be an exciting game, exciting matchup. Obviously, it's on ABC, 3:30, so it's a primetime slot. But I do think this game is going to be in that mid-40s. And I think it's going to be a close game throughout. I think Washington manages to get one last stop against Oregon on the final possession. And I think it's going to be a good game. And then this game is also going to prove that it's what I've been saying pretty much for the past 3 weeks now, that Washington is the best team in the Pac-12. I know everyone talks about Oregon and USC, but I think Washington's better than both those teams. I think Oregon State is better than both those teams as well. So we will see how this matchup turns out. But if you're asking for my prediction right now, and I'm giving my prediction right now, I would say Washington, like I said, 47-42 over Oregon. But let me know what you guys think in the chat room. Do you guys think this is going to be a close game? Do you think that it's going to be a blowout either way? Who do you have winning this game? Do you think Oregon's going to pull off the victory on the road? Or do you think Washington's going to serve pat? Let me know what you guys think in the chat room. I'd love to hear all about it. But I'm going with Washington this game for 47-42. So I do think that Washington will cover the spread. And I won't be surprised if Michael Penix Jr. obviously I think he's going to go for over 400 yards passing in this game. I'm sold on, based on what I've seen, I'm sold on Washington. I think they're legitimate, but I'm not sold on Oregon. I haven't seen enough yet. So 47-42 Washington. It will be a close game though. But let me know what you guys think in the chat room. In our next segment, guys, we are going to be discussing a very interesting ACC matchup that no one seems to be talking about for some reason. So be sure to stick around for that, guys. You're not going to miss it. Be right back. Alright, welcome back. In case you missed the first couple segments of our show, we discussed the matchup between Alabama and Arkansas, as well as the matchup between Oregon and Washington. Very exciting matchups. And in this segment, guys, we're going to be discussing the ACC matchup between Miami and North Carolina. Very exciting ACC matchup. Between another top 25 matchup as well. According to the matchup predictor, UNC has a 61% chance of winning this game. The game's going to be played at Kenan Stadium, so it's a home game for North Carolina. Over-under is currently set at 57, and the spread actually has UNC minus 2.5. As you guys know, North Carolina is 5-0 in the year. Miami should be 5-0 in the year as well, but they suffered a devastating loss against Georgia Tech last week. And when you, as a team, when you suffer a loss like that, it is so hard to bounce back from that. Almost impossible, because as a coach, you have all but lost the locker room at that point. Because now players don't trust your playmaking or your coaching calls, and they have all but lost as a coach, you've all but lost the locker room at that point, and it's hard to galvanize the guys after a loss like that. Especially seeing that they had an amazing opportunity to compete for the ACC championship and possibly make the college football playoff, but it is so hard to get the guys back, galvanized back. So this game will be interesting to see how Miami responds after suffering a loss like that. And personally, I don't think they'll be able to respond too well, especially going up against a team like North Carolina, who you can argue is one of the best teams in the ACC behind Louisville and obviously Florida State. I think this game will be low 30s, high 20s. I have North Carolina win this game by a score of 32-28. So I think they'll cover the spread. But this will be just me. This game will actually be more just a representation of what happens as an organization, as a culture, as a team when you suffer a loss like that. It's just so hard to bounce back from a loss like that. It's, like I said, it's almost impossible, man. It's just almost impossible to bounce back from a loss like that. But let me know what you guys think in the chat room. Do you think that Miami will be able to pull off the victory, the upset against North Carolina, or do you think North Carolina will stay pat? I'm impressed with North Carolina's offense, especially their running attack. I mean, I know they're averaging 174 yards on the ground, but Miami's averaging 211. I don't think Miami's going to be able to rush the ball against Miami, though, because Miami's not going to be able to rush the ball against North Carolina because North Carolina does a great job of stopping the run. But yeah, just this, man, I don't know how Miami's going to pull through the rest of the season personally after a loss like that, but let me know what you guys think in the chat room. I've got North Carolina win this game by a score of 32-28. But we're going to take a really quick break, guys, and then we're going to discuss another matchup between USC and a slightly overrated team. So be sure to stick around for that, guys. You don't want to miss it. We'll be right back. Alright, welcome back. Told you it's going to be a quick break. In case you missed the first couple segments, we just discussed the matches between Alabama, Arkansas, Oregon, Washington, and Miami, UNC. And in our last segment, guys, we are going to be discussing a very exciting matchup between USC and Notre Dame. Very exciting matchup right here. Notre Dame's obviously 5-2 with losses against Ohio State and Louisville. USC is obviously 6-0 in the season. According to Matchup Predictor, Notre Dame actually has a 61% chance of winning this game. Game's going to be played at Notre Dame Stadium. Home game for Notre Dame. Over-under is currently set at 60. And the line currently has Notre Dame minus 2.5. Now listen, obviously we've been previewing college football games all season. But I'll just say this right here. I've never seen Vegas be more wrong than ever before when it comes to predicting games. I mean, this is just not even close. Listen, man, I don't know why people continue to be sold on Notre Dame. We've already we saw how they performed against Louisville. If that performance right there didn't tell you all you needed to know, I don't know what it's going to take for the college football playoff committee, the AP poll. I don't know what it is. The AP poll must owe Notre Dame money or something, because it just does not make any sense to me how Notre Dame continues to be valued so highly by the AP poll and by Vegas and by the college football playoff committee. It just doesn't make any sense to me. And unless you're telling me that you think Louisville is as good as USC, I don't get it. I don't get where this is coming from. And you guys know how I feel about USC. I don't think their defense is particularly very good. And I don't think USC is the best team in the Pac-12. But that's just all we need to know about what we think about Notre Dame, sorry. Listen, man, I don't think this game is going to be close at all. I think it's going to be reminiscent to their matchup last year. Notre Dame just doesn't have the bullets to shoot with USC. I think USC is going to get out to an early lead. They're going to extend the lead. I have USC winning this game by a score of 33-17. I just don't think this game's going to be particularly close, man. We saw what happened when you got a team like Louisville. When you spread out the offense, you spread the field against a team like Notre Dame. They have size, but they struggle to cover ground. Listen, man. USC has a great offensive line. They're able to pick up a lot of pressure and protect Caleb Williams. Because this is my first time seeing this. I'm quite surprised that Vegas thinks Notre Dame's gonna win this game. I don't see it, man. I just don't see it at all. And listen, you guys know how I feel about Notre Dame. I'm just not sold on them right now. And I haven't been sold on them all year. Listen, I watched them play against Ohio State. I watched them play against Duke. I saw a game against Louisville. I've watched all of their games, and I haven't seen it. I knew when I watched them play against Ohio State, first thing I said to myself was, I'm not sold on them. There's no way. This isn't it. This is not it right here. And I don't know what else people need to see in order to, be exposed to it. But I don't know. Listen, this is an NBC matchup. Our matchup is going to be on NBC 7:30 p.m. So it's a primetime slot. So maybe people after tomorrow are going to see what I've been seeing with Notre Dame. But like I said, I got USC winning this game 33-17, and I'm just going to leave it at that. But let me know what you guys think in the chat room. Do you think Notre Dame is going to win, pull off the upset, or is USC going to win this game? But that's it for our show for today, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's been a wonderful episode. If you haven't already, be sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button as well, so you guys can stay up to date on all of our latest content. Be sure to follow us on Patreon as well. You can do so by going to patreon.com, click on the search bar, and type in GSMC Sports. And if you'd like to support our network and our company, you can do so by following the link in the ticker below. It's streamelements.com/GSMC Sports Network/tip. Once again, it's streamelements.com/GSMC Sports Network/tip. None of this is possible without you guys as fans, so we're so grateful and honored for all the love and support that you show us, and it's a pleasure to have this platform. And if you haven't already, be sure to check out the other shows on the GSMC Sports Network: the GSMC Baseball Podcast, GSMC Basketball Podcast, the GSMC Fantasy Football Podcast, and the GSMC NFL Podcast as well. All of our hosts provide great insight on the sports that they cover, and it's an honor and a privilege to work with some of the best in business when it comes to sports media. So, that being said, guys, enjoy your weekend. Have a wonderful weekend. Enjoy the bevy amount of college football that will be played. We'll be back same time on Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Continue to stay safe, be vigilant, make smart decisions, and until next time, peace.